We live in a really unique place out here, and we work in a really unique place where the closest healthcare clinic, we're looking at about 45 to an hour drive from our most densely populated area in our district. So there's not a lot out here for people to go if they need help.
To address the increasing need of providing health services to the local community, Mist-Birkenfeld Fire District came up with an innovative program called CHIP.
A Community Health Integrated Paramedicine Program. And the intent of the program is to be a proactive community tool to be able to help people who have chronic illnesses, but also people who have been transported to the hospital through the 911 system to help them once they come home, especially in our rural, actually even in a frontier environment where we don't have any other medical services. We as the fire department are it.
Larry Boxman created the CHIP program by tapping into his past experience as Vice President of Metro West Ambulance.
When I was at Metro West Ambulance, as the Vice President, I brought a community paramedicine program into the company that was able to help a lot of residents and keep people out of hospitals and out of doctors' offices by being proactive. And it was is a very, very successful program, and is one of the largest ones in the country.
Larry's first step was to approach the fire chief with the program.
He pitched me the concept of the CHIP program, explained how he had previously done one for Metro West Ambulance, and he was familiar with the types of programs across the country. So he approached me about developing one for our community, focusing it on what we have out here in our fire district and how we can provide for our community members. I thought it was phenomenal. I said we need to do whatever we can to get it going.
Once we got the ball rolling, made an initial presentation to the board of directors, and we have a 5-member board, and they were 100% supportive.
In October of 2018, the CHIP program was launched.
At first it was a little slow. We have brochures that we sent out to everybody in our newsletter and let everybody know about the program, but people weren't sure about it. And so at any type of gathering we had in our community, there's local coffee groups that meet, the church does a lunch once a month, or where there was a gathering, I would try to speak to people about the program. And also word of mouth became very effective.
In a rural community, going to people's homes to address their medical needs can be met with a great deal of skepticism. Fortunately, the district has a number of volunteers who are well known and trusted.
We've actually had people who are very skeptical of having anyone in their house, where we'll have a volunteer who maybe isn't necessarily interested in the CHIP side. They might be a fire volunteer and they're not really into EMS or medical stuff, but they have a relationship with that person. So one gentleman that we see frequently, we got connected to him through one of our volunteers, and he actually came to the first few appointments and sat there, so the gentleman could sort of get a feel for Chief Boxman and I to make sure that, we're not weirdo people coming into his house to, try to boss him around or steal anything. Because people get, when they live alone, they get a little they can get paranoid.
A program like this harkens back to days gone by when doctors would make house calls.
What's old is new again. I've said that before about this program. I mean, I think out here, this type of model is perfect. I mean, Larry mentioned we've had people come here to the station before. It's less common. I think going to someone's home, you overcome the burden of them having to leave. It's also safer. Some people who don't drive very often, it's like driving to Portland is an hour and a half one way. So asking them to do that is a lot. So I think going to someone's home, it is kind of that older style of medicine.
CHIP has proven to be a highly effective program, preventing unnecessary medical transports by catching problems before they become critical.
The feedback I've gotten from the community is all positive. Wherever I'm at, if I do encounter some of the community members, they have nothing but good things to say about the program. They actually have nothing but good things to say about all of our staff and volunteers. Everybody out here has the same mission in mind. It's just what we can provide and help our community.
It's really hard to find negatives about this program, especially from the community perspective. There's no cost to people. It's genuinely just looking out for people. And while we have recommendations on how frequently we see people or how long, that we keep going back to see people, our patients, our clients, they really can set the pace, right? So if they're like, hey, if you could come out once a month and check on myself or my loved one, that's helpful. If we're needed more often or less often, they can sort of set the pace, so it gives them a bit of control in the situation.
We're getting the people early. We're catching things so that they can continue to live a good quality of life. And we're building confidence with people with their health care.
People deserve to have high quality of life, even if they are choosing to live in a rural area. And I think that this program helps provide a bridge for that.